Getting ready to install the hinges. So I've got my case on the side, and I'm gonna figure out where to locate the hinges. All right, these hinges measure 3/4, and when they're closed, 1/2 inch. My depth of cut is going to be 3/8. I was thinking about burying that hinge fully, but you can't do that. Most times you'd put it in and only go that deep, which is a little less than 3/8. I'm going to go about halfway, or a little less than halfway on that barrel. So I've set my story stick up 2 inches from the top, 2 inches from the bottom, and I'm registering from the top. So we'll deal with that offset, which is the thickness of this credit card, like that, when we get to the door. I made a test cut before I'm doing this for my depth of cut for the mortise. And the other thing you can't see here is I've got knife lines that I put in there with the depth that way. Then I ran my knife right along those plastic markers. Alright, this side is done. Same thing on the other side, then we'll do the two doors. Okay, I've got the door. This is the left door on after I did these mortises. And here's things that you got to do in woodworking, at least I do. So I want the gap to be that up on the front. But if I take my card and put it in here, you can see it's loose back here. And if I were to tighten that up on the back, keep it flush, I'm just a hair out of perfect alignment back here. So I'm going to take this out. I'm going to leave my card in the front. I'm going to flush up the door. And I'm going to let this be a little bit strong back here. Now, the top, I've got probably a credit card's thickness toward the front, and toward the back I probably got half that. So this door may need to be fine-tuned back here, taking a little bit off of this corner. So this is where I'm going to start with, right there. I'm just going to make 2 pencil marks. To make sure that when I shift my story stick, I go the correct way. Okay, so now I can flip this over. I know this is the top because of my pegs. I take and put these pencil marks just a little bit to the inside here. And bring my story stick up. This is the top, which is where I was registering from before. And you can see that I've got to shift it that way. So I've got to go 1 credit card thickness that direction. And then I land right on my marks. And that's good. Well, this is exciting. That fits. I mean, it swings nice. When it closes on the bottom, I've got some room on the top yet. So I may need to fine tune that. I don't know. We'll see what happens here. Depends on where I put the magnet to hold it closed. But I like that. My gap is good. I've got thickness of a card down here. And I've got some room up on top. So when I put my top on, it'll swing underneath it. That's good. So it'll open up to 90 degrees without any trouble. It'll actually go past, well past, I guess. Let me see here. Yeah, it'll open up 180 degrees. So where I located the barrel of that hinge is all right. I like that. Nice. I've got a little fine tuning to do, but it's going to be very little. Right here's part of it. This side is flush. And like I say, when I close the door, I'm meeting the top here and the bottom is more open. Here I'm meeting the bottom and the top is more open. But we'll see how that settles once we get everything put in there. But so far I really like the way that operates. Okay, a couple things here. It's been a little while since I've worked on this project, but I made some marks to remind myself what I wanted to do. You can see I took pencil here and kind of marked up this door. That's got to get trimmed back a little bit from about that point up. So I need to feather that or sand that back a little. Then on this side, you can't really see it. Let me show you here. I marked up this false front drawer or drawer front. I've got to cut that back a little. So I'm going to have to put my shoulder plane and be careful not to take the side here, but I just want to trim this back a bit to match this first drawer. And then I think when I close that, I think that that'll be better, a better reveal right here. And I think that this side will be pretty much done. So this side over here, it might be the same once I get that done. I kind of like that reveal on that side as well. So before I do that though, I want to put the hinges on the back for the lid and put them in the lid as well. So I've got my hinges here. These are stop hinges, 95 degrees. And what I'm going to do with this is I'm going to work off of the center line so that I make sure I get the lid as close to center as I can. So I took some time the other day and set this up. I've got a stop here that's going to be my center line, or I'll use that as my reference right there. And that just covers that line. Make sure I got it come. Yeah, it just covers that line if I push it tight. So I can see about half the line here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make my pencil marks like I did before. Get another pencil mark for my distance back, 3/8. Now the problem is this is going to leave a real small piece there, but I want to leave it. I don't want to bust it out. So I've got to be really careful with this one. So let me get things set up, get my router, my cut lines in here. Then I'll come back with the router and we'll see if we can get this done and get it chiseled out and leave that shoulder.